Sometime later, Colin popped up in another poem that I wrote for Dianne's 40th birthday. But it was about an event that happened before I met her. Dianne became famous for becoming the first woman ever to enter and run in the men's high hurdles race at the Pio Pio annual sports. And I heard these stories, some of it was mythology, some of it was fact. When finally the starter called the hurdlers to their place, the crowd had swelled with expectant farmers' wives who, through some strange telepathy, had sensed this hurdling race was about to revolutionise their lives. And as he fired the pistol, he was troubled by a thought. But once started, this was not a race to stop. He'd forgotten to tell Higginson that at the annual Pio Pio sports, all the hurdles have barbed wire on the top. And Dianne's spirits lifted as she glanced on Higgy's side and saw the look of horror in his face, as his attempt to jump the hurdle clearly failed in mid-stride, and he lost more than just his interest in the race. If Hig expected sympathy, it hadn't gone to plan as he collapsed, unconscious, crumpled in a heap, while the crowd dismissed him loudly as just another man who gets his leg over just once, then goes to sleep. Pine Tree Meads was struggling too. His movement made much harder by a right knee firmly swaddled in a cast, the result of a misjudgment while entwined in a lambada with Valvilli while Dancing with the Stars. But Stan, 2 hurdles at a time, was jumping straight and tall and seemed to have the winning of the race, while Dianne, running under them, no need to jump at all, was hanging in, but not quite on the pace. Stan cleared the final hurdle. There the finish line it lay. He only had to cross it and he'd won. But destiny had made its choice already on that day, and sadly Stanley Meads was not the one. You see, Dianne, speaking vertically, may not have been too tall when standing next to rugged rugby players, but her bust line, it lost nothing in comparison at all to the Meads boys or in fact the Himalayas. And poor Stan, who thought he'd won it, could only stare with mouth agape and tremble as the tears began to flow, as Dianne lunged triumphantly and her bosom broke the tape, though her little legs had half a chain to go. And she won it by a nipple. And she won it fair and square, and that day the women's banner was unfurled. Because when they heard the news in England, a girl named Germaine Greer burnt her bra and wrote a book that changed the world. And she proved there are no hurdles to women who believe, and for a generation silenced all the mockers. And she showed there are no limits to what one woman can achieve with an iron will and a decent pair of knockers. Thank you.